We're with Sean Horne, Superintendent of Russell Independent Schools. And Sean, in your first year of your first contract as superintendent, and you spent, 4 or 5 years as principal at Russell Middle. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about now, let's first talk about the first 6 months of school and how things have gone here in the first semester.
Before we get started, Hank, I'd just like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today, and appreciate any opportunity to get to speak about the school district. With that being said, it's been a great transition. It really has. As I shared with you earlier in the year, we've had a lot of changes,
right.
And anytime that you have changes, makes it challenging but exciting. We have 2 new principals. Us being a small district with just 4 schools, that's major, and a brand new superintendent. So, right. 3 of the what I consider 5 top leadership positions in the district is in transition. With that being said, both of the new principals have hit the ground running, and I feel that the board has been great to work with. We've had a lot of things that we have worked through during the course of the year, and it's been a real positive experience. So from my standpoint, where we're at right now, mid-year, we're farther ahead. I'm sitting here looking at my plan. We're farther ahead with my plan than what I thought we would be. So I'm real pleased with that.
Russell Schools has always had a solid board. I mean, even back before you were around, when I was going to school here, and they've had a solid board. They've been financially austere. Mm-hmm. We've had good money people, Dick Baker and Dennis Chambers and several others. Mm-hmm. So here in this first 6 months, are there things that you've tried to put in place, mm-hmm. Not necessarily changes, but things that moves the district forward?
Mm-hmm. Dennis and I, just to take a second to brag on him, we're very fortunate to have a solid finance guy. He is, I would have to give him the majority of the credit as far as us being in as good financial shape as we are. Anyone that's read anything with the newspapers and the media and the things that's going on with the commissioner right now knows across the state that the legislators are getting ready to make a big decision on this next biennium as far as the budget goes, and we're all concerned about that. But with that being said, we're in really good financial standing still to be able to provide a good service to our kids, and that's what it's about. Changes, we've had some changes. The one major thing from a leadership standpoint is this new evaluation system that's in place. That impacts the teachers. That impacts the principals, and the board and I are currently looking at the actual model that kind of goes along with that. So I'll kind of be in the boat with them as far as some of the same things that's going to be required. That in and of itself, Hank, if we had no other changes, is a daunting task. I mean, it's a big deal with the amount of time that time is critical, especially with our teachers, and there's so much being asked of our teachers and our principals, just to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's as far as that system that is coming down from the state of Kentucky. It's huge, and we're crawling right now with that. A lot of stuff as far as technology goes, as far as making sure that certain documents are in. Met with someone from KDE the other day talking about some of the things that they have struggled with from a technology standpoint to make sure these things go off. Bandwidth is a major issue. We've talked about bandwidth and making sure that these things run smoothly. For us to continue to keep pace and do exactly what the state's asking of us, that's something that, especially from the legislature, we're going to have some major help as far as that goes, because that's huge.
People, let's talk about technology a little bit, because people now, as we've advanced through the 2000s and late 90s, people now, you basically have a classroom and a phone. I can put out a newspaper mm-hmm. On my cell phone mm-hmm. by using iCloud. Mm-hmm. Hundreds of thousands of dollars it costs you, mm-hmm. doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So where are your schools now? I know that in the primary school you have pretty much wall-to-wall mm-hmm. Broadband and internet capability. What about your other buildings?
We're wireless across the district now, which is good. Now, with that being said, bandwidth, you can have all the technology in the world, but you got to have the capacity to make sure that stuff works well. We're in a good place. We're nowhere where we want to be. All of our classrooms now have the interactive whiteboards, the smart boards. Those are being utilized across the district. I've been out and about quite a bit. I've been in multiple classrooms. My goal by the end of the year is I want to be able to be in all the classrooms, a few times just to make that interaction with the teacher and make sure they're familiar with me and my expectations of what I have for the district. But I'm real pleased. I would say 5 years ago, from my experience as principal to now, it's not as scary of a thing. I mean, I think, especially the way our kids are wired now, right. That's something that they're used to. They feel comfortable with that. And it's being utilized quite a bit. With that being said, there's changes every day, and to try to keep up with the technology, because you make a fairly large purchase now. That's like with the interactive whiteboards. That was multiple thousands of dollars that we worked with the Education Foundation to help us out with that. Our own funds, Miss Casto, working trying to get those things. And now those things are kind of being dated devices. I visited a classroom the other day. One of the things that we're working towards right now is a Bring Your Own Device initiative, where kids actually bring in an iPad or a smartphone, and they're able to use it as a clicker device or some things that's going on. So there's more of those kind of things. The thing that concerns me from the superintendent standpoint is making sure that we are properly monitoring the use of those things, because kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, you have various levels of what kids can and can't do, and from a advisory standpoint, it's scary.
Well, one of the things that I think we need to touch on, and I hope everyone that watches this understands, you have two sets of internet bans in the schools. You have a guest ban, and things are blocked off there. Mm-hmm. Children are not able to go to porn sites and things of that nature. It blocks them. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that Greta Casto and her staff mm-hmm. have something to do with that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And our kids are pretty tech savvy. I've said many times that a lot of our kids are well more versed in those kind of things than some of our staff. We are constantly updating our system as far as what sites are blocked and what kids have access to. Kids are pretty sharp. If there's a way of finding a way around a firewall or a way to do something different, I'm not going to say that can't happen, but we're constantly trying to be proactive with that, finding ways to make sure that those devices, even though that I would say, as crazy as it sounds, probably 9 out of every 10 kids have some sort of smartphone or technological device that they can bring to school and utilize. That helps the district in a lot of ways because it does save cost, but along with that, proper supervision and making sure things that we don't want to come into our school doesn't.
Which does require more time.
Absolutely.
It takes away from time for something else.
First and Peoples Bank has 6 convenient locations to serve you. From South Shore to the main office, First and Peoples Bank has been serving this area with complete banking services since 1932. Visit the home office near you. First and Peoples Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We are the home office. Come visit any of our 6 locations.
Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital is among the top 5% of the nation for patient experience. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital has received the Outstanding Patient Experience Award for 4 consecutive years. To contact the hospital, call the care line at 833-2273. Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital, on a mission for the good health of you and your family. You've settled in now, and we'll probably do another interview right about graduation, but tell me what you look for when we come back after Christmas, what you're going to look for there.
Well, the main thing that I've tried to establish from this beginning, anytime that you inherit a situation, you inherit everything that goes along with that. And the good, the bad, and the ugly. And, it's just having a sifting through process. This first 6 months with me being a new superintendent, fortunate to work with some veteran ex-superintendents and a current superintendent in the area. I'm part of the Kentucky Association of School Administrators cohort, which, believe it or not, I believe the number as of our last meeting, there's 38 brand new superintendents in the state of Kentucky. So I'm working with them pretty regularly. I'm meeting with them a couple times a month, and we're going over budget issues. We're going over personnel issues, law issues, everything that's a part of the job. But it's this second half of the year is going to be kind of just more of just fine tuning my plan. I gave the board a yearly plan at the beginning of the year as far as all the things that I want to do. I really won't, and I know this might sound crazy, but I really won't get into the nuts and bolts of what goes on until I'm able to establish all of the baseline kind of things that I want to with personnel, all of our staffing. Like I said, we've had so many changes. I'm kind of cut from the cloth of let's pick one or two things, three things, and do those things really well, maintain where we're at. And that's one of the advantages of being at Russell Independent. I hear these horror stories all the time from these other superintendents that are walking into independent school districts, county school districts that are just an absolute mess. Kentucky State Auditor going into a couple of new school districts, and those superintendents having to go in and clean up messes that are far worse than mine. So from that standpoint, being in a school district that has had the success that we've had, that has a solid staff and personnel that we have, I've been able to kind of just tweak and turn and not make any drastic changes, just kind of get everyone comfortable with my leadership style and what's going on. So this second half, just be maintaining that and continuing to be the best we can be.
Thanks, Sean. We'll do this again in just a few months.
Thanks, Hank. I appreciate the time again today for giving us a little opportunity to talk about the district. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julie Reeves. You're watching greenatbeacon.com, a member of the Beacon Media Group.
The force